Guys, good to see you. Excited for this week. Really disappointed on Saturday and frustrated. Have trying to use that for a big week this week and a positive. And so far so good in terms of meetings and in practice. The energy was really strong. Leadership really strong this morning. So I'm proud of how we're starting to respond. We'll see. We got to put some days together for Saturday. This is the best team we've played. You look at the film, clearly the best team. Most complete team. They don't make mistakes. They don't beat themselves. Really good offensive line, quarterback play, running back play. They've got receivers can make you miss. And defensively, they swarm to the football. They're physical, impressed. And so it's going to take our best effort. We got to stack some wins here this week to get it done. Take any questions you guys got.
Dave, you talked the other day about obviously needing to block better. Have you guys been able to look at film and identify what the biggest issues were?
Yeah, they're mental errors. I thought, when you watch the film, effort-wise and, pushing piles and moving bodies and all of that, you could see that on film. But then in a critical moment, we got to go right and we go left, hey, this protection changed to this. It's unacceptable and showed up and hurt us critical moments.
Coach, kind of a two-parter here.
Yeah.
First off, how is Bryson? And secondly, with the way he runs, you say he runs violently. Have you told him to change his style at all throughout the season with your thin running back room?
So Bryson is still kind of in the same mode in terms of being day-to-day. And I haven't really told him that. I think that's one of the things that makes him special. Way back when he was a freshman and was struggling just with life to kind of get on the field, the flashes when he was on the field was just really violence and big playmaking ability and just he's got an ability to inspire. And so the limited snaps we had with him, that was the case. The sideline, when he's running through people and falling forward and moving piles and all of it, it's contagious. And so that's something I think special. I think our depth in that room is building. Feel really good about Mike Turner, and one of the few positives from this game that we played was Mike Turner's play and his ability to kind of spark the run game there in the second half. So I think there's a lot to build off of there.
Dave, what you mentioned that this might clearly be the best team you guys have played all season.
Mm-hmm.
What opportunity would a win this week present for not only maybe instilling some confidence in the players, but maybe the fan base as well, as to the direction of where this team is headed?
Yeah, I think everyone wants to win, and I think everyone's really hungry for a win. And, when you win a little, you want to win a lot. And so I think that's totally where everybody's at. I think, there's talent on this team. There's a really strong care factor with this team. We got to put it together. And we're going to need to do that to get a win Saturday.
Specifically with defense, how do you balance maybe not beating them down, but getting your message across, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a good question. That's totally the thing right now. And I think, there's positive stuff. I think, you look at the first 20, 25, 28 plays of this game that we just played, about as good as we've played. And, we get a negative play, and then we, here we go again type of thing. And then it takes us too long to kind of snap back out of it. You look at the first and fourth quarters, the issue were the second and the third. And so, we got to keep fighting the good fight there and keep showing the positive things of where, hey, this was not good enough. We addressed it. We fixed it. This is it now. Now let's point our attention somewhere else and, kind of do the same thing, keep building up. I think the guys can see it. I know they can. And so we got to keep working to get there.
You talked about how it's a lot harder when you're one-dimensional. How much do y'all need some of those, next level runs, 10, 15, 20 yards to kind of open things up?
In a big way, we do. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's missing. Last year when you did that, there's always a level of just naturally, I imagine as fans, they have just level of angst when the game starts. Hey, how's this going to go? What's it going to be? And you have these runs that kind of settles everybody down. And it's like, okay, here we go. And we're missing those right now. Now we've been able to get a few 4 or 5 yard runs, which are always good to have, and to move the chains and put third down and a better fourth down and all that. But we need those explosive runs.
Cincinnati with Sorsby, a true dual threat quarterback. How much of a challenge is it going to be to kind of, try to limit him?
Yeah, he's a really good runner. There's intentional runs for him on third down, and when he get into the goal line, or red zone, rather, goal line too. He's a good player. We've got examples of him running over linebackers and D linemen, running backs running over D linemen, physical team, downhill team. There's not a bunch of third and longs. There's not a bunch of third and shorts. They're not really getting to third down because they're so efficient. And so they're on a different level from a lot of teams we've played so far.
You mentioned Cincinnati's good offensive line. How do you then counteract that with kind of the players you have? And, how much of a focus is that this week, getting pressure on the quarterback?
Oh, I see. Yeah. I think you have to kind of look at what the quarterback likes and doesn't like. I think you have to look at how that matches up with stopping the run, because the run is going to be embedded into everything, whether it's a run on third and long or it's a quarterback scramble or a quarterback designed run. And so they do a really good job of they chip protect on the outside with their tackle, with tight ends and running backs to help their tackles, but then just the facet of the run game's in there at any moment peels back on pressure. So I think we got to see what the quarterback doesn't like and then find our opportunities to pressure within that.
After the game, I think it was, you mentioned Sawyer Robertson, Keaton, and Devin Bobby as the guys kind of coming up to you. So, now that you're back in the building, how have you seen them kind of maybe interact with the guys and try to keep them motivated going into this week?
Probably a little bit more volatile, which I think is good. I think emotion kind of goes there, and I think some people only really listen when it's that way. I think if it's not in that type of tone, maybe they're not hearing it. And so it's kind of gotten louder. I think it's positive, though. I think guys are kind of stretching their leadership, maybe where they're uncomfortable, but they know that's where they got to go. So it's a positive thing. It's a good thing.
What did you see from Omar the other day?
Physical play. He's a fighter. He fights. And so there's countless plays. He's putting his guy on the ground. He's finishing through the whistle. He's moving the line of scrimmage. I thought you saw at the end of the game a lot of emotion and a lot of care factor there. So he's a leader for us, and you wish you had a bunch of Omars.
How was Keaton adapted to maybe a different kind of role with Phoenix and Travion out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, KT has played Mac and Rover, and then Rover and Mac, and now back to Rover with all of the injuries, and then just trying to find the best spots, And so I give him a lot of credit, because it's been for all of us, frustrating to this point, and it's been frustrating for him. He is always focused on what's next. He's always focused on what I can do to get the team better. He's focused on how can I improve in this space. And so it's, man, what a credit to his parents, and just, I have to remind myself of that, of those things when the stuff gets tough. But he's always that way, and the guys see it, and they get strength from him in the middle of that.
With Michael Turner, just kind of what about him has allowed him to seize his moment when he gets those opportunities out there? Is there anything special about him that you feel like really helps him excel out there?
Confidence. He has it kind of built in. I think when he came here, he has that natural confidence. For him, it's no big deal. To get out there and do what he does, it's just Saturday morning, man, And so that's a good thing. I think that's contagious too. And so his ability to move some of those piles and get some of those timely runs. There's a couple third downs and short yardage things in there where he was able to move the pile. And it's a 6-man box, and there's an unblocked guy, and he runs through the guy or makes the guy miss. It is very timely. And so we're looking to get even more improved play from him.
Coach, how big was it for Ashton to get going this past Saturday, and how do you see his role playing off of this past week?
I think it's important that our best players play their best. And, I think we're a unique team that we've got really a core group of just guys that give their all and are all in and are good players. And then we've got a level of guys that are just, when they're on, can take over a game. And when they're on, can be in the finalists for all the things. And we've got to get those guys, I've got to get those guys to play their best when it matters most. And so it was good to see Ashton do that. We need him this last stretch. We need him to be Ashton.
Dave, related to that, did they do something to take Trigg away?
No, I think, it took Trigg probably to about the third quarter to really kind of get a rhythm and to get going. There's a lot of zone, a lot of 3 deep, and they so if it's 3 deep, they play buzz, weak side buzz, and so the safety would drop in the core. He was kind of the one linebacker in the core, and the outside backer pushed outside the box. So it would look like there's nobody in the box, and the safety would drop in. There'd be an outside backer. There was a curl flat defender and a third corner. And so the seams in there are pretty big, and we tried to hit the seams to Trigg all game long. There's one where it went off his hands. There's another one where I think there's kind of a ref somewhere in there. And then finally, there's the big one at the end of the game. And we've been trying to get that the entire game. And so we've got to be able to get those sooner rather than later for this team to be its best.
When you say Cincinnati is way better than they were 2 years ago, is that personnel? Is that
I think
other
so.
changes?
Yeah, I think the guys that they've got back from last year have improved, and then I think a couple of their additions have really hit. The running back room is really talented, tight end room is really talented, the receiver room talented. Yeah, and so they were able to go in the portal and get some guys that are playing considerable time for them right now.
Dave, as a defensive coach, what's that challenge been like these past 2 years from your perspective, maybe to try and get those issues corrected? And how have you handled that? Maybe just that undertaking yourself.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I wish it'd be way better. It really needs to be, I hate that offensively almost has to play perfect, And so you just got to keep at it. And it's just there's so much stuff that can be, if you put it all in the box, the box would be labeled outside, and you just have to put it on the outside and focus on what you can control and what's right in front of you to try to get better. But it takes a disciplined approach to do that, and sometimes that's hard.
You guys, in a lot of games, have really responded when falling behind, backs against the wall, that kind of thing. Do you feel like this is sort of a backs against the wall moment of the season?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. This last game was, it's going to come a time where we run out of these times. And so I think the 4th and 1, it's 4th and 1 today. Today it's 4th and 1, right? And so I think that's been a message. It will continue to be one. We got to get it through.
When you first approached Micah Gifford about switching from receiver to safety, what was his response, and how happy are you to see him take some steps in that
So
position?
cool, man. Yeah, I'm so proud of him. That onside kick, that was purely him. The dude that handled the ball for them would be typically 10 out of 10, right? He's just that dude in terms of if you're on their side, he's the guy you want to be able to handle that. And Micah lined up right from him. It was a beeline, 100 miles an hour right to him. And so I know that affected him. And those things are all hard, especially when you already kind of do it once and it's happening again, a minute or so later, whatever it was. But Micah was in a beeline right to the dude. And, that's the rules of the game, and we kind of exploited it. And Micah's aggressiveness and his he loves Baylor. He loves his team. He loves Powell. He just gives you your all. Gives it his all, and it's inspiring, really. And so it's really pretty cool. His best play is yet to come. I think there's still things that he's learning kind of on the run with it. He's never really played that position before, but he's going to end up really being a good one.
Dave, was the one-dimensional, is that what maybe forced Sawyer to make
Yes.
some throws that?
Yes. Yeah. I think I know we are at our best when we can run the ball. I think if we're as good as the throw game is, and the skill that we have, and our ability for our O-line to hold up versus whatever twist or stun or pressure, we are at our best when it's run first, and the run sets the table. And so we've got to be able to get that going. Thank you, guys. Yep.